The day Mason was diagnosed, we were thrown into this crazy roller coaster world of cancer. Clearly not knowing where it was taking us, or going to take us. And were we going to lose our son?
Mason loves sports, and specifically baseball. He played on his school team, and he knows. The way he found out basically is that he slid into first base, and as he slid, he hurt his leg. And we were going to go on a trip for the summer, and I said to Mason, well, let's just have that x-ray to make sure it's all okay. And we went to a really great doctor that we had, and he took an x-ray and saw something that he didn't like. And so our son was diagnosed with cancer. He was 15 years old, and he had osteosarcoma, which is a bone cancer, which they found in his right leg.
The day of diagnosis, the next morning, I went upstairs to check on Mason, to massage Mason, to try and take it out of him, take it on myself if I could, if I was the wizard, and found Mason upstairs rereading Lance Armstrong's It's Not About the Bike, chapters that he remembered having read for an assignment that were specific to the complications that Lance had during the process.
Mason was such an amazing trooper through all of it. Being 15 years old, you really don't have expectations that your child can handle this diagnosis, and let alone the brutal treatments as well as he did. But he never used the word, if I get well. It was always, when I get well. And it was natural to take his lead and take his guide in that strong belief, as a belief is so much stronger than hope. And during Mason's treatments, and no matter how awful he felt many times, most of the time, he was always happy to either listen to his iPod, listen to his music. And when Mason was involved in music, when he played music and had his friends around and listened to music, it just was a neutralizer, basically. When Mason got well, we were invited to go down to Austin, Texas, to the Ride for the Roses with the Lance Armstrong Foundation. And Mason was able to ride his bicycle and participate in a really wonderful weekend.
Mason was recently out of his last treatments and out of past surgery, and as much as he wanted to participate prior to this event, couldn't do it because of the physical limitations, which clicked another light bulb went off, in that people that are dealing with cancer, that are physically compromised, needed an outlet. And in my rhythm world, it was a no-brainer. Everybody can drum, everybody can bang on something and make a joyful noise. Whether they're good or not, it doesn't matter. It's really not the point. It's an outlet, it's community, it's communication. It was important for me to express and expose the resources that we had gathered as a family in the research that we'd done over the prior couple of years during Mason's cancer experience, and share those resources. Some phenomenal grassroots organizations that have helped siblings deal with a brother or a sister going through a cancer experience, the family dynamics, how they change.
It's interesting to speak about music and healing. You know, this is in conventional medical circles, we spend so much time talking about the science, which really needs to be a huge part of all this, of course, looking at the research data and things like that. But where we've lost our way in some degree is the human aspect of all of this, and actually a belief and an understanding of traditional healing. So rather than talking about either or, what we really try and do in integrative medicine is talk about and. How do you use the best of both worlds? One of the things I love about Drumstrong is we are talking about really the human essence in many ways. We're talking about bringing people together in a different way, in rhythm, in sync, for music. And what that does is it inspires people to a higher level. And a big part of what healthcare should do is inspire people to good health. Cancer knows no boundaries. And so whether the instance is unfortunate in that it's a child that's being touched by it, or if it's an older person being touched by it. It doesn't matter. It goes global. There are people all around the world who are being touched by cancer, and we're all in this fight to beat this dreaded disease. It starts with prevention, but there are ways that we can help enhance a successful treatment and then keep survivors healthy as much as is humanly possible. It's all of that and more. And that's why when coming to Drumstrong, you get a touch of all of that. You get a sense of all of it. You see people who are engaged in Drumstrong all around the globe. You see families who are taking care of children who have beaten back cancer because of the combination of very good care they've gotten. You see folks who are in the midst of treatment. You see older folks who are receiving different kinds of care. You see people involved in clinical trials. You see the doctors coming, the nurses coming, all the people who've been touched by it because we've all been touched by it.
And my friend said, let's go drum. And I said, what? Drum? Me? I don't do that. And I was in the middle of the circle. I'm like, what did I do? But no one pressures you, no one expects anything. So she just said drum and don't think about it. And I sat there and I actually got a drum. First time in my life that I touched a drum. I started drumming and it felt so good. It was a therapy.
Drumstrong's accessible to all ages, wages, and stages of health. Come out and join the movement, play, drum, keep the rhythm in motion.
The ultimate goal of Drumstrong is to raise awareness and funds for important cancer initiatives globally through rhythm.